Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimale in Abuja. Our conversation tonight are deep and far-reaching. At some point, it might look and sound controversial, but yes, let's get into the very deep of some of the conversation that will help us shape the public narrative for the public good. Tonight, our first conversation will turn our attention to a convergence of power, politics, and present public perception in Nigeria's North Central region. The emergence of Professor Nentawe Yedada from Plateau State as the new national chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC State conversations about zoning equity, strategic influence of party leaders, and the role of state governors in shaping the soul of the ruling party. Many political watchers had anticipated a return of the APC National Chairmanship to Nasarawa State. At least that is where he started from, when the party had its convention. And the home base of late Senator Abdullah Adamu. But that expectation was politically rerouted. What does these developments signal about North Central's power calculations in the APC, and what influence did governors really wield behind closed doors? Beyond the corridors of party politics, Governor Abdullah Sule has found himself in the crosshairs of multiple narratives, from the fake viral reports of a collapsed bridge on the Nasarawa-Kefi Expressway, which the state quickly debunked, to deeper and more dangerous allegations that is allegedly fueling unrest across the Benue border. The tension between political speculation and security realities is becoming increasingly complex. For example, it's since gone to court to challenge a withdrawal of that statement, added to the mounting pressure from the opposition ADC and the opposition coalition platform, challenging the Tinubu administration's pace and policy direction. Tonight, we'll be asking Governor Sule to respond to these swirling issues, assess the true state of the nation from his vantage point, and reflect on his government's activities. So let's speak with the governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullah Sule, who is joining us live from Lafia in Nasarawa State. Thanks so much, Your Excellency, for your time tonight. All right, we'll reconnect with him as soon as we get him back. But our second conversation will be about the issues relating to our public service systems in Nigeria and the sheer neglect or non-patronage of public office holders. So there is a lawmaker who has since proposed a bill, a controversial proposal, which is igniting passionate debate at the heart of Nigeria's governance and public service. A bill sponsored by Honorable Amobi Oga, representing Isukwato Federal Constituency of Abia State, seeking to prohibit all public and civil servants, including their immediate family members, from patronizing private institutions. The logic is striking. If officials are tasked with managing and funding public institutions, they must be able to use them. The bill now before the House of Representatives aims to close the accountability gap between those who make policy and those who suffer its failings. In a country where more than 70% of Nigerians depend on public health care, when many officials fly abroad for basic medical care or send their children to schools overseas, while some hail it as a revolutionary push toward equity and governance reform, critics have argued that the bill is impractical, unconstitutional, and could infringe on personal freedoms of these people. But the core question remains, should public officials be compelled to experience the same public systems they legislate and manage? In 2023 alone, these are the statistics, over $1.6 billion was spent by Nigerians on medical tourism, much of it by public officials. Similarly, tens of thousands of children of political elites are enrolled in foreign or high-end private schools, even as public education suffers chronic underfunding and poor infrastructure. Tonight, we'll also be getting perspective from the member who has now put himself in trouble proposing this bill because it's come under high scrutiny and attack from the political elite. Honorable Amobi Oga is in our studio. Thanks so much for joining us. But give me a moment. Let me speak first with Governor Abdullah Sule, who has since reconnected with us. Thank you, Governor. I was afraid that the network may have collapsed, just like the rumors of the collapsed bridge in Nasarawa State. But thank you so much for joining us. Let's begin the conversation from the influence you and your colleagues wielded. You met at the caucus of the Governors Forum before the next meeting a day before, and it was the governors who proposed Professor Nentawe Yedada as the National Chairman of the APC. What did you and your colleagues consider, or what did you see? Why the choice of Professor Yedada?
Well, thank you very much, Sheun. Sorry, we have been having some challenges with the network. But I think if you look at the background, one, he's from the north-central part of Nigeria, where originally APC actually zoned the chairmanship to. So coming from the north-central and from Plateau, for that matter, it gave him one advantage in that area. Secondly, he is somebody who is very, very close and well known to Mr. President. Mr. President has given him one of the most controversial, recently. He must be somebody like the Honorable Mr. President actually trusts. So one of the ministers, well-trusted ministers of the president. Secondly, coming from the north-central part of the country. Number three, looking at his experiences. This is somebody who has experience with elections, who has been with INEC as well. And this is somebody who was a one-time state coordinator for the Tinubu Shetima campaign organization in Plateau. So all these factors came together actually to make it make him the best candidate, for the position. And so when it was proposed, none of the governors actually objected to it. That's what happened.
But I can imagine that you must be disappointed. You, as a political leader from Nasarawa State, former governor.
I don't know what you mean by.
Yeah, the reason is I know you would have pushed. I know you would have pushed for Governor Almakura to have had a position, because that's your constituency. And because there are those who say if the former governor who left the position, it should naturally be replaced by another Nasarawa man. How did you concede to that position, which was originally micro-zoned to Nasarawa State, has now gone to Plateau State, your neighboring state?
Well, yes. It's not a foreign state. Nasarawa and Plateau is one and the same state. Even if the person has come from Benue, it wouldn't make much difference. As far as I'm concerned, you have to understand it from the point of view that as well as Plateau.
All right, we'll get back to Governor Abdullahi Sule as soon as they're able to resolve some of the glitches there. Let me turn to Honorable Olga. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. I know that I've read the bill, the proposition. You've read it on the floor, isn't it? And it has been adopted first reading. Yeah, so it's going to be so the second hurdle for it, which we'll hope that we'll see how the debate will go on the floor. But what necessitated your proposition of that bill?
Well, so the truth of the matter is that if you look at the scenario of what is going on with the public office and civil servants, you can see that truly there is loss of focus. And also there is this loss of public trust in these critical institutions. And the essence of this bill is to install that national discipline, patriotism, and that enthusiasm to see that these critical institutions work again. So for me, there is no way we can cook food we cannot eat. If we, the public servants, cannot patronize the public institutions that we oversight, there is no reason.
So invariably, let's break it down. The bill is for every public officers.
Public officers and civil servants.
Civil servants.
Including their immediate family. Immediate families.
Children, husband, wives.
And wives.
Must use public schools. Public health institutions.
Yes.
Where did you get that kind of model from?
Yeah, because being one of the committee chair on health, I am the committee chairman on HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. So within these 2 years I've been there, I've looked at I said, what is the solution? How can we get this right? Because the truth is that we don't have another country. This is the only country we have. And for me, if we don't bring back that trust and cut that or reduce that conflict of interest in these critical institutions, it will be very difficult.
So basically, the bill is going to enforce all of these people.
Yes.
Either elected or
non-elected,
or appointed, or even when you enter into public service, you must patronize. You cannot go to private.
You cannot go to private
school. You cannot go to private hospital.
Yes.
But isn't that unconstitutional?
You see,
because of freedoms of and the rights of every citizen to choose how they get themselves educated and treated when they're sick.
Remember, nobody forced you to come and take this public office.
What about civil servants?
Nobody also forced you to come and to get job there. We cannot be able to eat the food we prepare. What is the essence of it?
But where would that bill, where would this, it becomes an act of parliament, where will it derive its strength from? Every law made by the parliament derives its strength and origin from the constitution, which is the origin, which is the parent of all laws.
That is why we are there. When it becomes a law, when it's passed as bill, we don't have choice than to obey that law. The truth of the matter is that if we don't look at this critical institution and find a way that we must be part, because that is the only thing that will force us to make these things right.
So, and I'm asking again, the ground norm, that's the constitution.
Yes.
Is the parent, is the basis upon all of the body of laws rely on. That kind of law must have gotten or derived its strength and inspiration and origin from any part of our constitution. Where do you think this can rely on? Because it has to have a constitutional backing and strength to be able to fly.
That is why it's our duty to do that. That is our duty. That is why it has to go through these processes. That is why we are seeking for public opinion. Because if the big men think that this is not right, then we must find a way to fix these institutions.
But will your colleagues allow you for that bill to pass?
That is why the public is very important. Because, this bill is anti-big men. This is for the masses. For me, I think this is the time we need to fix this country. We cannot continue to cut corners. There is no way we can be public servant or civil servant that the institutions were oversight. We are not making use of it.
So basically, your thinking is if we pass this bill, it will allow our health institution to function well.
Of course. course.
Because all the big men and the big women in this country will have to use
They will be
them.
forced to strengthen it.
Our public schools will be better.
Of course.
Because their children will be forced to go, to those schools.
My children will be going there. Their children will be going there. They will make sure that these things work.
But what effect will it have on the private sector institutions?
There is no,
because they are part of our economy.
Yes, they are part of the economy. There are other millions of Nigerians that are not part of civil servants and public servants. There are many of them. There are many of them. There is no way you can be making money from public office or as a civil servant, and that money focuses on the private patronage of these institutions.
Do you have statistics to back these your bill in terms of what are the indices that have pushed you to be able to come up with this law? How many public servants? How many politicians use the private institution or go abroad? Do you have statistics to back your bill?
You don't need to go too far. You are aware, few days, weeks ago or days, our former president was flying as cargo. Is it not a shame that at each point in time, our big men travel outside for medical services? Is it not a shame? Are we not ashamed of it? It's high time we need to fix the system. And if you get education right, get health right, that means there is future for all of us. If we don't find a way to make sure that we return that public trust and make sure that that loss of focus on these institutions, if we don't bring it back, we are not going anywhere.
Are you already feeling or seeing or hearing some backlash on this?
Of course. There is nothing good that comes so easy.
And you're ready for that?
Of course. There is nothing good that comes for easy. I am elected by the people. I am elected to speak for the people. If I come here and cue in on the way things have been going on, is it the best for me? What will I tell my children tomorrow? I want a better nation. I want a better country where our children, myself, will have a better health. I don't need to run out of Nigeria for this.
Let's take a breather, everyone. Of course, when we come back from this break, our conversation with Honorable Olga will conclude our conversation. And don't forget that our connection with Governor Abdullahi Sule will resume, and we continue our conversation right now on the program. We'll be right back, everyone. The governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, has been speaking with us, and we'll reconnect with him in a moment, and as well as Honorable Amobi Godwin Olga, the member of the House of Reps who proposed a bill to force public servants, politicians, to use public health and public schools. Thanks so much indeed for speaking with us. I don't know if we can now go to Governor Abdullahi Sule, who has been standing by for us in Lafayette, Nasarawa State. Your Excellency, if you can hear me. All right, we will get back. It does look like on the day that technology wants to frustrate you, there's almost
maybe anything. Technology wants me to talk.
So now, you look at it, and I'll take some statistics, for example. Apart from those who will think, and I love the sense behind your intention, right? That we cannot service or keep our leaders safe and medically in Nigeria we have to take them abroad to take care of them. That is, in fact, an insecurity problem.
Of course. They are not even safe.
They're not safe. Because when you put them in the hands of foreigners...
Yes. You don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. It's also a soft power in the countries where they are taking them to above your own country.
Of course.
Now, the question here is the issue of constitution, which I've stated earlier.
That is why it's a bill. That is why it's a bill.
Because it offends the fundamentals of freedom of choice of an average citizen. And freedom and the rights of citizens are empowered and enshrined in the Constitution. You can't take it away from them.
No. Nobody is taking it away from anybody. You see,
to be able to make, let me ask you, is as though you are saying as soon as you become a politician or civil servant,
yes,
there is a certain complexion of wife that you must marry.
Of course.
There is a certain car that you must ride. I mean, a certain complexion of woman you must marry, a certain age of woman you must marry, a certain type of woman. I mean, you are constricting them to what should naturally be their choice of how they can be treated, of the choice of schools they want to attend. Because there are world over. See, those who want to go to.
If you have, it doesn't stop you not having choice. Okay. There are different local government schools. Why don't you make choice from those ones? Must you have a choice in a private institution? You see, the rotting in these two sectors is as a result of conflict of interest.
But is those who have accused you of seeking populism? That this is mere populism rather than effectiveness of... are there other ways by which that this can be done without having to take away the rights of the citizen?
You're not taking right of anybody. Remember, those common Nigerians that you have failed to provide those necessities for them, you have also taken their right. Which right are you talking about? Which right? How can you cook a food for the public and you can't test it? Is it also right? So when we are talking about this right, let us be sincere in what we are doing.
Will the schools be enough? Because you have only 104 unity schools owned by the federal government. You have only 43 federal universities, 47 state universities, and you have over 100 private institutions.
When did we start having these private universities? I can remember, like 30 years ago, how many private university and secondary and primary school do we have? 40 years ago, do we have them? We have best of brains then. Even people come from outside Nigeria to study in Nigeria. Foreigners went to Nsukka. Foreigners went to Ibadan. What are we talking about? You see, what you don't want, don't give it another now.
Give me a moment, Honorable. Now that I have Governor Sule, I better take him. You don't know what Elon Musk internet will do for you tonight. Governor Sule. So they say charity begins at home. So I was wondering that you probably would have fought for a Governor Almakura, except if you say that the choice of Professor Nentawe Yedada was that of President Tinubu. That would have an overriding political influence on what the governors or any member of the party thinks.
First and foremost, because of the challenges with the network, I didn't do what I was supposed to do from the beginning. That is really to congratulate our Falcons for the wonderful job that they have done to win the 10th WAFCON finals. So I think for us, in National State, from our Amazons, we have 4 players there. And I want to congratulate all our players. I want to congratulate the entire and the good people of Nigeria, for this victory. Now, going back to your question, Sheun, indeed, we will have loved to have one of ours from Nasarawa to be the chairman, no doubt about it. But the truth of the matter is that you have to look at so many other considerations. We have to look at also what is good for the president, what the president feels comfortable with, and the rest of that. And I think at the end of the day, the choice of, and this gentleman we're talking about is also a gentleman that will resolve so many other issues, for us. As you know, Plateau is a much bigger state when it comes to even the voters. Plateau has over 2.7 million voters. Nasarawa has just 1.8. So you take that also into consideration. Then you take the experience of the gentleman who has worked for INEC. He has been a professor. He has PhD in digital ICT and things like that. So he has so many other reasons. But the most important of them all is he is very, very much close to the president, and he's somebody the president trusts, and the president believes in his loyalty. So you have to take all those considerations. So yes, the state will have wished to have Tanko Al-Makura or any other person from the state, but at the end of the day, we have to also embrace the realities of the day. So he's also our son. The professor is somebody that is very close to us here in Nasarawa State, and we admire him and we congratulate him.
But in all of this, would you say now things are now politically balanced, considering now that the former governor of Kano State, who was the chairman, and there are agitations within the North Central, are all of those agitations doused?
The agitation had been doused, for the fact that the position has returned to the North Central. Remember, even in the North Central, we had so many other contenders. We had so many aspirants that were interested in it. We had people from Benue that have shown interest. We had people from Niger that have shown interest, and so it was highly competitive. At the end of the day, we believe, number one, it is balanced, that now we have somebody from the state, and it is also balanced that somebody from the other part of the religion. So that way people will not feel that they have been neglected. They are no longer as part of the APC family. So now the APC family is complete.
Interesting. Can the APC face the likes of the PDP, the ADC, in what is turning to be a very intense political terrain now? The opposition seems to be very serious, especially the ADC. And if one can trust anything that went on in the PDP in the past days, it does look like there's a progress in their leadership crisis. They've made progress in trying to resolve some issues within their leadership problem. But is your party, you are able to realize that there are real pains of the Nigerian people, which the opposition has been hammering on, and whether or not your party is able to fulfill the dreams and the aspiration of many Nigerians?
Well, the bottom line, you have two-sided part of the questions. One, you mentioned that they are getting their acts together. So will APC be able to address them? I think the question is the other way around, that the APC is getting stronger every day. The opposition of all the parties are losing more and more elected officials who are returning to APC, because every time you hear people who are elected, either governors or senators or House of Reps or House of Assembly, the direction is all of them are just returning to APC, to the point where other parties are crying foul that Nigeria is being turned into a one we are going to an APC state, Nigeria as a whole, or we are the ones that, again, that will be afraid. So that is on one part. Now, the second part of your question is about the changes that Nigeria is facing, and then the work that we have been able to do. As you have seen, more and more are being laid out, more and more efforts are being put together by the governors, by the legislators, by Mr. President himself and the federal government. And most of them are going to address the concerns and the feelings of the people, the suffering of the people. Most of these programs are targeted towards that direction. You have seen the efforts in agriculture. You have seen the efforts in the oil and gas sector. You have seen the efforts in humanitarian services. You have seen the efforts actually with the supply of buses, and you have seen the efforts with the civil servants, with the salaries that are being increased and the rest of that. You have seen the efforts in education, in health. So I don't think it is something that you can say we are not making progress. I think APC and the government are making very big progress. It is normal for people to will continue to do more, because that's the reason why we're here. We're here to do more, especially when things are going in the right direction. States are getting more and more funding. Federal government is getting more resources. And as a result of that, we are doing more, and everybody understands that we are doing more. Some of us get commendations even from past governors. State, for instance, we had our first civilian governor. With due respect, I have done more than any other governors put together combined. This is the statement he did, and he looked at all the other areas, whether it is in infrastructure, or is on roads, or is in education, or, so that is exactly the direction we are going.
Let me take you to the issues relating to Benue-Nasarawa border issues. There's Professor Zach Gundu, whom we understand that you have dragged to court based on the statement that was credited to him. And the allegations about Nasarawa communities harboring those who are killing or those who killed innocent citizens in Benue State. And are those who are asking that your government and Nasarawa should be able to be transparent with Benue people on the real situation of things. And they were worried that you've since gone to court on this matter.
First and foremost, I did not go to court. What happened is, when we saw that kind of information, we saw how provocative it was. We saw actually that it will, instead of solving problems, it will end up creating more problems. So we sent a letter to him, and asked him to view his position being a vice chancellor and actually withdraw that kind of statement, because the statement coming from a learned person like him will not help anybody. And I spoke with his governor about the statement, that he made. And based on that, we wrote to him. And from my understanding, he's trying to come to me to apologize about what he said. Shaun, when anything happened between the Benue State governor and I, even the former governor, Otom, we continue to exchange security information. Yes, it's just like saying somebody attacked Lagos, he came through Ogun. Where else will the person come through? Is he going to come through the sea? So the person has to come through Ogun, because Ogun is the only state having border with Lagos. So it's similar to this. Some of these people coming from the north, they end up coming through Nasarawa, but we don't entertain them. So the statement that I didn't enjoy and I didn't think was fair to us was to say that we were even housing the people. These people don't need house. Those are the people that just come in through the bushes, and they go from one place to the other, and they attack Nasarawa as well. It's not like we end up, because they kidnap our people, we go after them. At one point, everybody who will remember when I came in as a governor in 2019, we found some of these people actually at a camp in O2 in Toto local government. I had to visit the former President Muhammadu Buhari, who assisted us and gave us what you call joint operation from the air, from land, from sea. That's we dislodge those kind of people. So this kind of security, who is actually housing the ones who are attacking Zamfara? Who is housing the ones who are attacking Katsina? Who is housing the other people who are attacking? I think that's a very unfortunate statement for anybody to know. These people just travel, and they just go. And that's what it is. But I'm happy to hear that the professor has actually come and see me and apologize. And I said that I will not see him until he apologizes publicly, rather than just come inside the office to apologize to me, because that is not going to count. And I think people like him should actually make the proper statement that will unite the people, not end up dividing the people. That's the idea. But I didn't go to court. I did not go to court.
But the fundamental issue here is whether or not Nasarawa is able to come clean and say how it's going forward to ensure that the communities in Nasarawa are not used to harbor criminals and elements who are killing people in Benue and using it as a place where as a safe haven, they hide there, they attack, and they retrieve.
No, definitely. These people don't stay in Nasarawa. Sheun, if you look at the way these people operate, definitely they don't come to stay.
All right, yeah. Well, we'll try to resolve that and get a few things out of. We'll go to another break, and when we return, we'll be having our closing conversations with my guests on the program. We'll be right back, everyone. Thanks so much. Let's get back to Governor Abdullah Sule in Lafia. Governor, the question about how to end the cycle of violence and insecurity within that axis, and those who say community policing, state policing, those options, have you and your colleague, Reverend Father, earlier sat down recently to look at the best ways out? Governor Sule, I don't know if you can hear me.
Land use here because of we're having serious problems here because of the rain actually that had taken place here. So, but the bottom line is, yes, we have sat down many times to discuss, as you have seen. When the killings in Yelwater happened, I was the first to visit Yelwater. And when the president actually, I visited Yelwater, and then I visited the governor in Benue in order to discuss what's the way out. In addition to that, during the Northern Governors meeting in Kaduna, we discussed at length, on the issues of this security in the north, especially at the border. That is not only with Benue, we discuss also the issue with Taraba, we discuss also the issues with Plateau. So the issues of security between borders are issues that the governors continuously sit down and discuss within themselves. If you remember with Autumn, I had meetings 3 times, joint meetings that we sat down with the community leaders, traditional rulers, and all these ethnic groups, as well as every other person involved in order to resolve this matter. But Mr. President set up a committee, and I remember you interviewed one gentleman concerning the committee, and the committee has not started sitting yet, but it is very important for that committee to sit. And the CDS, Chief of Defense Staff, also set up another committee of former generals. They have visited most of the governors. At least they visited me, and I asked them if they visited the other governors. They say yes, and they visited other community leaders in order to come up with solutions. So there are solutions that are being sought from different angles. It's not just between Governor Ali and I think it is between so many other groups. And by the grace of God, we'll find solution to these unnecessary and mindful killers that are just roaming the streets.
Let me take you back a bit to politics. Are you concerned that some northern heavyweight and leaders and elites within the north have recently adopted the ADC as a party of choice ahead of 2027?
I don't know what you mean by concern. The truth of the matter is that if you look at the heavyweights that you are talking about, are mostly people who are living either SDP or PDP or the other political parties and joining into a new political party, therefore weakening the PDP or weakening the other parties. So will that be something exciting to an APC or not? I would say, instead of being concerned, we should be excited, actually, that instead of having a force in one area, they are being splitted into different groups. So that's the way that I look at it. If you talk about concern, to be honest with you, there has not been, and I have not heard it, I know that about it, either at our APC governors meetings or even the general meetings where there are more people or the stakeholders meetings or so. It is normal to have opposition. There is nothing wrong about it.
And this is the reason why, Governor, this is the reason why I said so. When you have platforms where non-partisan northern leaders and opinion shapers and religious leaders are now taking sides because of what they feel as the non-progressive movement of the nation at the moment in terms of governance. And they say, look, we're looking elsewhere for succor. And that's why I say whether you're concerned. And we've heard that the National Political Consultative Group in the North has adopted the African Democratic Congress as its preferred platform to challenge the APC. And that's the reason why I'm asking. You're a leader of the APC.
You will continue to receive this kind of association. That some association. Sheun, I heard you, but I'm saying it is normal to hear all these big names, Association of Democrats, Association of Litigants, Association of this, all joining together. We recognize it. I mean, I think Nigeria should be used to that now. Who are these people? When somebody, we are an association of this and therefore we recognize this, it's just normal. Maybe it's just within that one PA of one of the other people will just call the paper. Today you have seen the damage that somebody, just one person sat down from his room and generated an AI where he said our bridge actually got broken. One day I was nothing like that. Nothing ever happened like that. So it's the same thing with this politics of ours. You'll just have somebody, who will sit down in his room, get a few people together and say we are the Democrats youth of northern Nigeria. Therefore, we are supporting this. And then you get concerned. So how do you get concerned about that? I think as far as we are concerned, we continue to put our efforts together. The bottom line is that we do have some people, that's the one that even give me more concern. We have some of our friends from APC who were formerly CPC, for instance, who have split, and now they are joining opposition. But they are not many, there are very, very few of them. And some of them are not very much known politicians. They are professionals in what they do, and they decided to do that. So that's the one that you can even think about that is this. But some of these associations endorsing this, we have over 200 associations endorsing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and endorsing the APC. Okay, so what do they bring about?
There are questions, though, Governor, as to the performance or as to the manner in which the country is headed or the direction the country is headed. And the president even mentioned it. Let me remind Nigerians what the president said. And he was warning that leaders of the party have to go back home and make Nigerian people feel. If the president doesn't feel that there is a problem, he probably wouldn't say that. Let me remind Nigerians of what the president said at the APC NEC meeting.
The essence of our party is not forgotten. I thank all of you outside there. It is not easy to navigate the storming water of economic instability. Now that the economy is stabilized, no other fear for the country except upward movement and sustained growth, I can assure you. Nigerians are still complaining at grassroots. To you, the governors, you have to wet the grass more. And lead the way in delivering progressive change to Nigerians.
You heard the president, Governor Sule. The president is aware that Nigerians are feeling the pinch and the pains. So the question is whether or not you will be able to consolidate as a party to the promises your party made to the Nigerian people ahead of 2027. Because the tsunami of the opposition is coming, and it looks like one that your party may not be able to withstand. Brace up.
You know,
for the impact.
Sherman, you have some big terminology. You have some big terminology. Tsunami, you have this tsunami, hurricane, and all that. You have this kind of terminologies all coming facing the APC. You know, the bottom line is that listen to what I heard what the president said. I was there. And I was there, even the one that was not televised, you know, the day he met only with the governors, and he made the statement to us. That's the night before we went there. And he didn't say anything different from what he told us as the governors. Only that this time around, there were other people at the next meeting when he said that, please, you know, that the economy has changed. We are now stabilized. The economy has stabilized. And what does he mean by that? Let me even give you one area. You know, if you look at the FARC distribution for the last 3 months, they have all improved significantly. You know, and then in last month, it's public information. Last month, actually, in fact, not even last month, this month, you know, the month has not concluded. You know, the total sharing was about 1.8 trillion. You know, so remember, we used to share about 600 billion. So we're sharing 3 times what it used to happen. So what the president says is say, wet the grass. You know, so go and find other opportunities to take care of the people so you can touch them. If you have been given 1 or 2 trucks of fertilizers, give 10. If you have been supporting teachers, would be support them more. Some of the civil servants, support them more. Whatever you are trying to, that's the idea, you know. So we were even more details the night before, you know, because of this, and that's the pictures you are showing. So that's really what happened, you know, and that's the direction that we are going. For us in Nasarawa, we are going to have an emergency ESCO meeting on there, and when we have that meeting, there are going to be more support in the area of security, in the area of civil servants, in more gratuity that we are seeing. So all these monies that are coming for us in Nasarawa State, we save them. We don't take them and spend. And out of that money, we are going to do this. The same thing with the local government. They have seen significant improvement. We are going to discuss with them. What are you going to do, local government? What are you going to do to your workers? All that meeting we're having this Tuesday. And when we have the meeting, these are the issues that we'll address.
Governor Sule, yeah. Have you and your colleagues, yes, because the kind of opposition that we are seeing today and the coalition, the committee formed by these politicians is unlike the past election cycle that we have seen. Have you been able to discuss within your ranks in the APC what this means for 2027?
Yes, we have discussed, and it is not something actually that I will disclose here. You know, as they are planning, we are planning. You know, we're in politics. We're in this and that. We are not just sitting down watching them planning. You know, so as they plan, we plan. And at the end of the day, you know, the better plans will take over. So now it is as they are planning, we are planning. We keep getting more and more governors from PDP joining us. Very soon you will hear another governor joining us. You hear every day, you know, senators that are decamping and coming back to APC. Every day you hear. These are all part of the plans. They are not happening just by magic. They are not happening just by... But
Governor Sule, apologies to Button. Yes. The ADC only yesterday released a statement that the reason why some of the governors or some heavyweights are not able to come to ADC now is because of a witch hunt by your government of the APC. And there are those who remember that in the days of Goodluck Jonathan, prior to the 2015 election, there were a lot of defections that happened. But Jonathan lost that election to Buhari. All this we see is being called political facade.
I don't underrate anybody. And from my background, from my training, from my family background, I don't insult anybody, not even the opposition. I don't insult them. I don't underrate them. I don't make negative statements about any one of them. And for me, that is me. That is based on my own upbringing, my own background, my own professional, my own career, and the rest of that. But the bottom line is that what you are saying is that they must find something else to say. Jonathan's era is completely different from this era. We didn't see what we are seeing during Jonathan that we are seeing today. We didn't go through the challenges that we are having during Jonathan that we are going today. The caliber of people that came together to form the alliance of the APC, ANPP, ABGA, ACN, CPC, as well as, all these other parties, the new PDP and the rest of that. It's not the kind of thing that you are seeing in this new opposition. And the individuals that we are talking about, they are also different from what you are seeing, today. So I'm not underrating them. I'm not saying they are nobody. Right. I'm not saying anything about them, but I don't think it is anything that is giving any one of us lack of sleep. Believe me.
Thank you so much, Governor Sule. I was going to mention to you, I've seen Governor Sanwo-Olu do something like that, and I've physically witnessed Governor Umba of Enugu State also having cameras all around Enugu State, literally in part of the forest in the interior. Maybe this is something Nasarawa and Benue can also consider. There is a large room in Enugu, and the capital city, where you can literally see what is going on in the whole of the local government of Enugu State. I think that might be a consideration. But thank you so much, Governor. Always a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ashon. Always nice. I'm sorry about that. We are a state of agriculture, so when we have rains, we are happy. And then, unfortunately for you, the rains are not good because the network is bad.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Honorable Oga, thank you so much for coming tonight. I appreciate it. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for joining us tonight. I'm sure Kimale will bless Nigeria.